I have witnessed you. You are an extreme tactician, and you are constantly strategizing, which I think means that if you are as tactical in the way you approach things, and that was just part of who you have always been, and you didn't have outlets, it would make a lot of sense that it could become, like you were saying, unhealthy, just because if all you have to do is come up with strategies and possibilities and narratives about all these people because you don't have enough competition happening in your life or enough creativity happening in your life, then it would make sense that you would become very focused and centered in on the humans as not chess pieces where we're valuing them differently, but in a way, because your brain is so strategic and always has been, as far as you have conscious memory.
Yeah, it always has been like that.
You've applied it to humans, though, so much.
I have.
And why?
I like this question, actually. I didn't know you were going to ask this. Why
I like being in control, so carry on.
So I feel like I've grown up in a pretty complicated upbringing in the sense of what is morality, what are ethics, and something I still genuinely am searching for is what is the formula for truth, or how to know that my reality is trustworthy, my perception of my reality, right? And I feel something that is so fundamental, and I can't necessarily explain why, but it's just my relationships with people. Even if I was some schizophrenic person, or I was just imagining things and I didn't know reality, the relationships with people, it's just so relevant in every aspect of my life. And people are fascinating. They're so complicated, yet humans, I've noticed, are so governed by very unified principles. It always works, at least in my experience. And there's certain principles so it's kind of cool because it's like a chess game. There's principles and rules, but there's chaos that can still happen. And it's fascinating to me. You know, I've always enjoyed like the games, and
it keeps your brain occupied.
It keeps my brain occupied big time. And so I've always liked poker, and I've liked chess for those reasons, and people as well, because understanding people is this endless quest, and it's this big mystery that nobody really has solved yet. But I feel like I've learned about myself that I feel like I can sense things and see things that a lot of other people don't. And I'm obsessed with trying to put formulas on why it works and why I can trust certain things.
Okay, super fun. And this is such an easy segue now. The way you answered that segues so perfectly into my next curiosity. You see, and this has been ever since I've known you, we were in a group setting playing a game, and an unusual human behavior happened to our left. You are right, my left, but you and I were sitting across from each other like we are now. And quickly, you clocked it, I clocked it. And then I looked at you and you looked at me. And without words, we both witnessed each other witnessing the moment while everyone else is kind of still caught up in the game. We noticed this unusual human expression. We clock it, we clock each other, and then we go, are we both? But then when we would talk about what we noticed, it would be different things, which was so fun to talk about. What do you find are topics or specifics that you notice? Because it's not the same things I notice. We're both noticing. We're both caught by the alarm of this behavior. And we both see each other seeing it. But when I hear from you, you saw something I didn't see. What are the things that you're seeing, that you have found, that you accidentally see, perceive, notice? What are some of the topics, or what is a topic, if I want to be more narrow? And you can pick any one you want. When you were saying, I just feel like I notice things that others don't, pick one and tell me about it.
Okay, I like this. So, as I was saying earlier, like with superheroes and things, I think whenever you really do start to understand your superpowers, and I'm saying superpowers because, as cheesy as it sounds, it's more fun. But you could say maybe your skill set, or like what you're born to know, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to call it superpowers because I like that better.
I like it too.
So it's almost like, what I see that as is when you do live in a world where you have that superpower and you know it, and you start becoming well acquainted with it, and then you know how to use that power. Like Superman knowing his laser eyes and how hot it will burn and how to navigate it, right? Once he's learned how to do it really well. It's different than Wonder Woman with her, does she have the whip or whatever?
Pretty sure.
Sure. I think she does, actually.
I said pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
But like the thing is they have different powers.
100% positive she does the golden lasso carry-on.
I think she does, actually.
She does.
So here's the thing is they don't have the same powers, but they both have powers and they kind of exist in a similar world. And so that's where, so what I would attribute this to is actually very energetic.
Okay.
And so I think that's something that I naturally do is I have a really good I have a good discernment. I can discern whenever things are relevant or not.
So relevancy is one of the specifics that you discern.
I have a really powerful filter of, I naturally will see a situation and data flows in. And it's not just like words and thoughts, it's the energy in the entire scenario flows in. And so I will see people and I see their history, and then I see their current state of mind, I see their current energy, I see how that's interacting with people, and I see all that happening at the same time. And then I see how these people might be, this dynamic is going to affect this in this way energetically, and then this is going to affect this. And what if we brought in this element? How would that influence this whole situation? And all that's like happening simultaneously for me.
Which is why you said it's more energetically.
It's very energetic.
That would be really hard to articulate.
It's very hard to articulate.
Your brain's not going at that speed.
It's weird. I think it is. There's a lot happening, and in my whole life, it's not till in the last few years that I've been able to recognize somewhat what's happening. And I do feel like the most simple way to say it is through energy. And I think what my natural instinct to do is I can sense patterns of people's energy and where they're at in their natural being and of scenarios. I can pick up really consistent patterns, predictable things that will likely continue to stay put unless something changes. And then when something changes, boom, I notice it. And I don't know what it means exactly, but I sensed it's like a chart, and it goes boom, there's a spike. And I don't know if that means that this person got angry, or this person's scared, or this person has anxiety, they got offended, but something happened, and I'm almost always accurate with it.
With what the thing was, or with that something happened?
That second one. This is such a good clarification as well, because this is where I'm not, I don't know actually, and this is why I think that my discernment is really good, because I don't feel like I naturally know why. Whereas for you, I've noticed you are a lot more, you're very empathic.
Yes,
I do
empathetic.
think I'm empathetic.
Yeah.
I think I'm also an empath, but not to the degree that you or some other friends that I have are. It's one of y'all's superpowers. It's your ability to really feel what someone's feeling and to know what it is. I don't always know what it is, and so, but what I do though is, because I have good discernment and I can receive a lot of data at once. I take a lot of context clues. And here's an example, like let's say poker. I could take in a lot of data at the same time. I watch people's energy and what they're talking about, how these people are interacting while I'm talking to this person, and all this is happening. And then all of a sudden something changes. Somebody's personality just changed.
And you sense it, like you
I'm
said
like,
on
boom.
the graph,
I exactly. I don't even know what it, I just, boom, I can sense it. And then I say, interesting. What is this? Oh, it looks like nervousness. It's likely to be nervousness. And I try to be careful not to put too many labels on it.
You're like hypothesizing real time.
Exactly. Hypothesizing real time. And then what I do is whenever I'm convinced that it's likely to be what I'm guessing, I try to take context clues all around. Oh, he was really like this, and then he was really like this when the Ace of Diamonds came out. Why would he, what changed with the Ace of Diamonds? That's interesting that happened at the same time. That's probably linked. Oh, it happened also whenever this person said that comment about the Queen of Diamonds. Interesting. So, like, what is the link of all these context clues? And then I'm able to make really good decisions.
That's like human statistics, but with the data given at that exchange.
How do you mean?
Well, it just sounds like you're doing like stats almost.
Oh,
you're
totally,
like pulling data points, and they're the control, and you're like, what variables? What's the change? Is there correlation? Is there causation?
And I feel like I'm able to know whenever something it's not relevant information.